All right, word problem, everybody's favorite. So we have Monisha and Holly have 14 more days to finish reading the same novel for class. Monisha plans to read 9 pages each day, while Holly plans to read 20 pages each day. Assuming Holly and Monisha both maintain their reading plan, when will Holly catch up with Monisha? Who will finish reading the novel first? So in order to answer this question, we want to write a system of equations to represent this situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to write an equation for Monisha, and then we'll write an equation for Holly, and then we will use those equations to help us answer the question. So we have a little graphic over here. We know that Monisha is already done some reading. She's on page 96 out of 220. That tells me that there are 220 pages in this book to read. So she's on 96 of the 220. Holly is on page 6, so she hasn't gotten very much read yet out of the 220. So Monisha's equation, if we think about her reading, her total number of pages she's read, we'll let that represent a y. Actually, well, we'll talk about it in a second. Okay, so y equals, she has read 96 pages already. In addition to what she's already read, she plans to read 9 pages every day. So she's going to read 9 pages times x, the number of days. So I just used an x and a y. I do want to make sure we're in the habit of defining our variables. Let's let x represent number of days, and let's let y equal total pages read. Okay, so we can follow the same idea and get an equation going for Holly. Holly's total number of pages is equal to, let's see, she has read 6 pages so far. So here's her 6 pages. Plus, she's going to read 20 pages every day. So we're going to add in the 20 pages she reads times every day. So there's our system of equations. These two equations are going to work together to help answer some questions. So the questions that they asked, assuming Holly and Monisha both maintain their reading plan, when will Holly catch up with Monisha? So when are these two equations equal to each other? When is their total number of pages the same? We can graph both lines, see where they intersect. Who will finish reading the novel first? So use a graphing calculator to graph the system of equations and find the intersection. So I'm going to move this over here a second and show you how to find this on a graphing calculator.
All right, so here we have our graphing calculator. Remember to graph an equation, we're going to go to our y equals. So I'm going to hit y equals. I'm going to type in our first equation for Monisha. Y equals 96 plus 9x. So 9, remember the x is this xt alpha n button. I'm going to arrow down to type in Holly's equation. Y equals 6 plus 20x. And then I'm going to hit graph, and we're going to see if we can find the intersection point from our two equations. So clearly, my window is not set very well for where these two lines are crossing. I can see I think this is Monisha's equation, this is Holly's equation. So we're going to go to Zoom. I'm going to go to Zoom, and I'm going to scroll down to, sometimes this doesn't always work nicely, but I think it'll work nicely here, this Zoom Fit. If I hit Enter, it's going to fit my window a little bit better for the two equations that I typed into the y equals. All right, so we can see right here, that's our point of intersection. I'm going to go ahead and hit the trace button. I'm on my blue line, and I'm just going to arrow over, and I want to try to get to that point of intersection. Here we can see our x and y values. So right here, x equals 5. That represents number of days. So after 5 days, I'm on, let's see, this is Monisha's line. She has read 141 pages. And you can see Holly's line is below hers. So after 5 days, Holly has read less pages than that, but you can see Holly's catching up because she's reading more pages per day. So I'm going to keep arrowing over. And just in this video, we'll do an approximation. I think my cursor's pretty decently at the intersection point. So a little after 8 days, 8.18 days, that's when they have read the same amount, and it's right around 170 pages. After that, Holly's going to take off. She's reading more pages every day. But after just over 8 days, they have read the same amount. The solution to the system is this ordered pair right here.
Okay, so we just talked about what the solution was. Let's go ahead and write it down. In your notes, I know that you guys probably didn't have your own graphing calculator, but if you just want to sketch what we just did, you will have an opportunity to use the calculators in class. So our ordered pair for the solution, the x is, let's say, 8.18, and the y was 169.64. So after just a little over 8 days, they have both read around 170 pages. All right, so there's that written down. Go ahead and pause and write that sentence in. All right, we have a follow-up question. Suppose Monisha reads 10 pages each day instead. So she's going to increase her reading rate. How will that change the length of time it takes? How will that change the length of time it takes Holly to catch up with Monisha?
Okay, so Monisha is going to change her reading rate, so that's going to change her equation. I'm going to go back to the y equals on the graph. Instead of a 9x right here, she's going to read 10 pages per day. I'm just going to arrow over. So I'm on top of the 9. I'm going to type in a 10. It just totally replaced what was underneath my cursor. I need an X, and now I'm going to hit window, not window, zoom. I'm going to arrow down to zoom fit and hope that that gives me a good graph to see the new intersection. So it's over here a little bit, so that's okay. We can still see it's intersecting here. Let's go ahead and trace and see where that intersection is. So the best I can do is an estimate here, but we can see that if Monisha is going to increase her reading rate, her number of pages she's reading per day, now after 9 days, they will catch up. So it's going to take Holly longer to catch up if Monisha is reading more pages per day, and they will have read around 187 pages. That's when they will read the same. Will Holly still finish the novel first? She will, because there's 220 pages in the novel, and they're at page 186 when they have read the same amount. So from this point forward, Holly is reading more pages per day, so she will finish the book first.
All right, so go ahead and just write down what we just discussed in the graphing calculator video.